me. It make me feel so good, make me feel good, baby. 'Cause I don't know about you, going the bumper close.
Flying on New York, think it's people can done. Florida, Canada, big up every kitty shot. When me fly go England, Europe, me have fun can done. But everybody know, ain't no place like home. Me no know about you, but me love think it's bad. Me no know what them a talk about. When them say think it's mad. When everywhere in the world have problems, everywhere need God. Tell them easy no man. From you love think it's bad. Me no know about you, but me love think it's bad. Me no know what them a talk about. When them say think it's mad. When everywhere in the world have problems.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. You're in tune to 98.9. That's Win FM on your radio dial. It's a beautiful Friday morning. Ooh, the sun is out in all its glory. We had some little showers this morning. And if you're not in St. Kitts, you're missing out on a lot. COVID is not here, only one. Yeah, sorry. It's only one person who would have contracted the virus. We know that of a new case that we would have just registered. But again, it's life. We should be grateful. We are blessed. When we look at the statistics and we look at what's happening around us, we realize that we are blessed. Somebody is looking over us, and we should be grateful. You're in tune to Your Views. This is a show that is hosted on Win FM every Friday morning from around this time, 10 o'clock, and we go up till 11 o'clock. Your host this morning, as usual, is Sandra Quilly Atherton. It's a pleasure to be here. I should have had with me this morning the Honorable Akila Byron, but unfortunately, things didn't work out like life. Things didn't work out as it should, but they always say a bad wind never blow and every disappointment is for good. And for that good, I bounced upon him on the studio. I wanted to have him next week, but time would have it that I have him here today. It's the Honorable Carlton Dupont. Honorable he is, and I'll tell you why I say he's honorable. It's a man that I admire. It's a man who says it like he sees it. A man who has talked from one side of his mouth, and he started not from his mouth, he speaks from his heart. And that is one of the reasons why I admire Carlton Dupont. He sacrifices a lot for the good of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. He sacrifices his own belief and his own understandings and what his practices, sorry, that's the word I'm looking for, so that we in St. Kitts and Nevis can be comfortable. What a man. What a man is Carlton Dupont. I have followed him over the years. I've looked at him going through his political aspirations. I've seen him journey to his religious belief. I've seen him behave in an area where he think morals should be applied. I like the principles that he stands for, and that is who the Carlton Dupont that I know. Carlton, good morning and welcome to Your Views.
And good morning to you listeners, and I'm really happy to be here. Very, very happy.
Okay, I'm having some problems with my mic. I don't know why, but I'm not hearing well. But let's see if we can get that one fixed. My headphones are posing some problems. Let's see. Still is a problem. I don't know why, but anyways, let's move away from that. I can hear myself. I hope that you can hear me in Radio Land, and I think that's where we're going to go. Okay, Carlton, thank you for coming or sitting in with me because you're already here on that short notice. What we're going to talk about this morning, politics and religion. I see you have your Bible open, so I think I'm going to throw the religion part in it. When I say politics and religion, we're talking about morals, principles, and what the Bible says about morals and principles. As I change my headphone, I'll see if I can hear myself any better. We have just had an election. The Team Unity government has been voted back into office. We see the Labour Party having some issues. They are not very comfortable with the results, and so therefore they have exercised their democratic right to contest it in court. The people have spoken. It is the first time the Labour Party has been defeated so badly. It is obvious that we are really entering into new dispensation where people are looking for leadership that matters. Leadership really matters. And we're seeing another thing too. We're seeing the rise of women in politics. We have a senator, we have two senators and a junior minister, and we have a minister, an elected representative in Aquila, Byron Nisbet. And they're young people. We have young General Powell coming through, and we are seeing that the phasing out. And on the Labour side, we have Jeffrey. He's new, young enough. We have had Dr. Drew. We see Kenny Douglas, and we have Leon Natta. They are young, new people coming into politics, which is a good thing. I thought St. Kitts didn't have anybody else who could have contested the election, but now we are seeing that we have a whole group of new people coming in, so we know that there are people out there. What is your take on the election? It's almost 1 month. It's over a month. Sorry, it's 1 month. It's a 1 month anniversary. What is your take on the results of the election?
My take is that, firstly, I was extremely disappointed that the Labour Party had the leadership of Dr. Douglas again. I thought they should have taken my advice 7 years ago when I told them, quietly sit down with Dr. Douglas and ask him to resign, so that the party will get a kickstart. Then, if you run a next election with Douglas at the helm, you will lose worse. And then that's 7 years gone. It happened. Sanja, I am sad this morning over the Labour Party, because I am very much aware, in spite of the fact that I love Dr. Harris and his unity construction, I am very careful in my belief that a country like ours, so nice, we should have a good opposition.
I believe you.
And I am very disappointed, and I feel sorry for Congress, especially because when I met Congress many years ago and we spoke, I said, Congress, I have you down as a future leader of this country.
Yep.
He said, thank you. I don't lie, Sandra.
You're nice.
I will lie for making a joke. Mm-hmm. That's different. Mm-hmm. But Congress' life now in politics has been messed up so much that I would like to know what's the thinking of the young man at nights. I am told that he's married. He's a responsible dad. I am also told that he has kids.
And he's an awesome person.
Oh my God.
He is. I spoke to him on one time, and I didn't realize, I didn't know him, but I spoke to him. The first time I spoke to him, I couldn't believe he was that kind of person. He's an awesome person.
And why Congress made that blatant mistake with the intelligence of his dad? Because his dad is very clever,
Yep, he taught me in school.
He did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I did not know he was a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Hear this now. I glad I stupid, Sandra. I'll tell you why. Who fooled Congress by telling him he shouldn't take the leadership thing when the governor wrote and asked who will be the leader? Why didn't he take it? It would have been something so uplifting, and his children would have something to say. Oh, somebody will say, so your daddy is now in parliament as the leader of the opposition. It's a good feeling for a child. I was once a kid. So I know good and I know bad. Sanja, I am talking to you because my respect for you is so high, it doesn't go on percentage. Percentage can value our friendship.
It's true.
But I am sad over the loss of Conway's seat, even though I work hard to take it away from him.
I know.
Because the Bible says in Proverbs 13:20, the man who having dealing with the wise will be wise. The man who stay around stupid people, like what I think about his leader, that is his downfall today.
But you know what though, Carlton, and I can't seem to understand it though. We have these young people coming through. And it's no disrespect to Dr. Douglas. He would have served well for me. And I've always said that the only two leaders they have right now in St. Kitts is Dr. Douglas and Dr. Harris. Dr. Douglas, for me, he's a clever politician. But that type of politics is long since gone. His style of politics is long since gone. We have to start looking into the future. We have lots of young people who are now coming through and who have a better, we can dwell on the past. And I think that is one of the issues with the Labour Party. It's their strength is talking about Bradshaw and what Bradshaw would have done and the past stalwarts of Labour. We need some good people who you can look up to now, young people can look up to. The difference between Labour and the Team Unity administration, you look at Dr. Harris. Let's make comparisons between two leaders, Dr. Harris' style and Dr. Douglas's style. Dr. Douglas is the kind of person for me, and I'm not going to use a dictator, but he's very strong. His approach is strong and arrogant. Dr. Harris is the kind of person to me who you can walk up to at any time and you can talk, and he has this soft persona to him. And I think that is what people look at. And he speaks, his tone is different, and the things that he speaks is different. I started to understand terms like fiscal prudency and debt to GDP and understanding the way her country is run based on the stuff that Dr. Harris says when he has discussions and press conferences. We now understand where the country is because all that information comes through. We were not having that before. Before, everybody talk about integrity in public life. We talk about the freedom of information. And we're saying that now, and pressure has been put on the government to do that now. But we're coming from a 20 years of a person who understood that this was absolutely necessary and really did not implement it. And you see, what we're having now, and my mother always said, a house is as strong as the foundation. If you have a weak foundation, you're going to have a weak structure. And that is one of the issues that we see, is that now you have to rebuild, you have to break down, which is more difficult, and start rebuilding. I think that is the problem that we have here now. Conwis, I am so sorry for him. He's a young man. Dr. Drew, I'm sorry for him because this is the second time he would have lost.
Do you think they'll come back?
I wish they would, because like you, I want to see a strong opposition.
No, they'll be around.
Yeah, they will be around.
Party,
yeah,
would they run again?
I wish they would. Honestly, I wish they would. They just have to change the approach, and it's their fault. Because let me tell you why I say it's their fault. If I know a ship has a leak, I'm not going to jump on it. At one point in time, it's going to sink. And I think that is one of the things that they saw. They saw the obvious. And one of the things when people start to defend wrong, when you can see that it is wrong, you find yourself in the turbulence. And I think that is one of the big problems.
Sandra, having said that, let me say something very important to young people. Try to become self-sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling something here in Win FM studio today. To me, the more self-sufficient a person becomes, his thinking ability
changes,
rises. So
True.
I'm wondering, this is the first time I'm thinking about it today, apparently because we are so close.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if the youngsters in Labour believe they could not make it without the help of Dr. Douglas. Apparently, as leader, he might be able to bring some finances, he can speak to donors and so. But I believe if that happened, is a massive mistake. Those young politicians, had they come out on their own and even had Dr. Douglas and others in the background doing their own little thing to push behind, it would have been better off for the Labour candidate. Let's go back to Dr. Harris that frightened me. I meet with Tango regular.
Mm-hmm.
And one night, I down by Tango, and Tango said to me, Licky, boy, nobody could tell me nothing about Dr. Harris, You see how he taking care of poor people? I said, Tango, what you mean? He said, but tell me something. So you now listen to the news that 2,000 people get a roof put on? I tell him, no. I wasn't aware that they're doing all these things because remember, I stopped politics.
Mm-hmm.
But Sandra, when I think about Dr. Harris, you see the money that I just spent working, hoping that Dr. Harris will be Prime Minister again and run this country.
And you did a good job.
I have not lost one dime.
Wow.
I have my own heart. Sandra, Dr. Harris is a special human being.
It's true.
Dr. Harris and I don't sit down like here every minute on phone talking and so. But one day I was going up to National Bank and I saw him in the square. And I went over and I said, Dr. Harris, can I have a little chat with you? And when we spoke, and I realize how hard it is for a man to be a prime minister, I say, okay, I went home and I prayed, and something struck me. You must give Dr. Harris support in prayers and talking with certain people and so about him. Tango say, I would not leave Dr. Harris. Same with me. And from that night, that inspiration that I got from my greatest friend on earth inspired me to work hard to show to the people in St. Kitts the difference between Denzel Douglas and Timothy Harris.
And
That is what I did.
And you know what? Labour would have been in, I can tell you, I can almost guarantee you, Labour would have been in power up to this day if Dr. Denzel Douglas would have passed over the mantle to Dr. Harris. It would have been a change situation because he is that kind of person. I can almost assure you that most people that follow the Team Unity government is because of his influence. It's the things that he does. He's a people person. And, you know, I don't want to, and I'm only saying, I'm talking from experience. You look at the poverty alleviation program. I mean, it's a whole Team Unity construct that sat down and, you know, they'll come forward with these things and look at how poor people are struggling and come up with the fact that, you know, an additional $500 to you, $500 is not much, but to the ordinary man. And I'm going to tell you, I sometimes you have to put yourself in people's position because sometimes we are, and I'm going to say we because we are different. I work for myself. I decide how much money I want to make at the end of the day, and self-sufficiency makes you think differently and allows you to say things that you want to say. It gives you that position where you can just say whatever you want to because you're not dependent on people. And when people are placed in a mind of dependency, you have this situation. That's what happened to the Labour Party last election because all of the candidates were so dependent on one person. That is one of the reasons why they couldn't do what they wanted to do and they were not free to say what they want to say. But because of the fact that we are who we are, we can say what we want to say. And let's go back to the people and what the government would have done so far. The poverty alleviation program. You take people out of a situation where they can do for themselves because it allows them to start to invest a little more. So if I work for less than $3,000 and the government give me an additional $500, I can do that to do other things. At the same time, I can start to push myself forward. I can think about getting a house. I can think about owning a piece of land because that $500 come in handy. Government land is not so expensive. You can pay a little piece by piece. And after a while, you're not so dependent on government. And it allows you to see things from your eyes and not because you're influenced by others. And I think that is one of the areas that you look at. You look at the fact that not only you look at the stimulus package that came out, that's a person who, you talk about people who cares. And I think that is one of the reasons why the Team Unity government got back into power with such a resounding victory because of the things, the areas that they look at, helping poor people. 20 years ago, look at how many lands they would have given out to poor people. Poor people can now own things, and that was one of the issues because of the small salary you're working for. You couldn't afford to buy certain things, and now look at the young people coming up, and that is why young people are so vocal.
Sandra, don't forget, we used to borrow money
All the time.
on the Dr. Harris. I tell you, I'm not playing with nobody when it comes to Dr. Harris in this country, Let me tell you this. I done with election again.
Yeah.
But you come and tell me, I Rasta without clocks, some stupidness about, oh, this person coming up against Harris and this and that, are back in politics again.
I know.
Look, everything about me, I want people to understand. If someone come from the Labour side like Dr. Harris, I go with
Vote, exactly. You support them. You support them.
Nobody can tell me what to do.
Support them.
Listen me, on the Dr. Harris, we stop borrow money. That is one of the greatest thing ever happened.
We are no longer on the IMF reins. Look at what we have the opportunity to do so. Look at the times that we have. It reminds me of a person who practiced that management of funds in your home. When you manage your finances, it doesn't matter how small your salary is and you learn to prioritize, you can move just as big. From an ordinary salary, I could own my own house. And people don't realize that. It's practicing money management in your home. And I see that. And that is where I was able to compare what Dr. Harris is doing to the life that you would have lived. You get to a position that you are on a simple salary, a basic salary, understanding how you have to prioritize, understanding the importance, what is important and what is not important. And that is what allows us to get to where we are. I listen to Sylvine every time she calls in. And that woman is a teacher. She taught me so much. She taught me in school too. And she and I work at planning unit together, and there's so much I've learned from Sylvian, Sylvian Henry, and we have to understand that as young people, and this is what you're seeing coming from the Team Unity administration. It teaches us how to manage our own personal finances and take us out of the position of begging. We are no longer going to IMF to beg. People are talking about, oh, we don't have any foreign investors coming in. We can do it here amongst ourselves. We have to stop looking to people and start looking within ourselves. We have the talent here. We have the resources here. Tourism, we are closed down. But let me tell you, Carlton, when I look at where we are here in St. Kitts and Nevis and make comparisons to people out there, boy, it's like God is living here with us.
Praise the Lord, Sandra. Sandra, in my morning's presentation this morning on a radio program, this is what I say. It's amazing you talk about Sylvian. Proverbs 25:28 say, a fool immediately shows his annoyance, but the shrewd man overlooks an insult. Tango always call me down and tell me something about Sylvian. Wow. Licky, come down by me. What you doing? I said nothing. Come to my house. We having a drink. Tango say, you know, the amount of people does insult Sylvian and radio program, and when she comes back, you don't hear nothing about the insult. I said, Tango, I didn't realize I'm going to check it out. And I've been doing it, and it's true. Well, look the mistake people making in St. Kitts. Because Sylvian support the Unity Party, they have a problem with her. They don't listen to her.
It's true.
They're thinking about Labour.
It's true.
Well, that's how Labour want people to believe. But Sylvian can take the insult without commenting on the insult and still move forward. We have to learn from Sylvian. She's our teacher.
And then let me tell you, there's nothing that Sylvian is going to benefit. Sylvian has basically, and this is what we have, a wealth of experience. We have an educated person who can pass that down to from generation to generations. And because of her political blindness, because of political, I mean, we are so political that we fail to realize when somebody is trying to educate us. And we lose out on that. It is a pity. And that is one of the problems that I have here with people in St. Kitts and Nevis. Nobody is entitled to the opinion but the person who wants to have one. And it is a sad thing.
So this morning, I made mention on Edinburgh, a guy named Big Steve, and a guy named Curtis. I was trying to search St. Kitts people. Election is now over. Even though Edinburgh say funny things about me on the platform, I am not going to follow anyone and speak ill of him.
No.
I want him to perform and prosper in this country. Big Steve is another guy. He take the bags out for the tourists at the airport. He's a superb human being. I have had dealing with him for years. What are we going to do with people like him and Curtis? We're going to keep them down because they're Labour supporters? No, we carry them with us.
No, if you look at Curtis, let's look at Curtis Cook.
Yes.
Curtis if you get to know Curtis outside of politics, you'll understand. Very nice person.
Oh my God.
And you know, when you look at his passion for Labour and his loyalty to Labour, that is the person who he is otherwise. He's very passionate about children. He's very passionate about the things that he do, and he's very loyal. And that is one of the reasons people can't seem to understand why he comes over like that. Him and I would always have it out on Facebook because that's who we are. He's going to have his point and I'm going to have his point. He's going to go down because that is what he knows. But do you get upset with people like Curtis? Of course not. Because that is how he knows. That is what he knows. Ira McMahon, he calls in every time, every radio program he calls into, and you understand his loyalty to
but
the
he can
Labour
do better though.
I know he has the intelligence to do better, but that is who he is, Carlton. We can't tell people about how they should feel about something. That's the opinion. I'm entitled to mine. Nobody can tell me what to think and how to say it. And it's the same thing. I can't tell you how to say it, but I'm going to defend me, and you have a right to defend you. And that is how I feel like people, and this is how people should look at politics. People are getting this thing where people become enemy. I don't like this person, or I don't like that person because you support Team Unity or you support Labour. Everybody has branded me. But let me tell you something. Team Unity cannot be comfortable because if the day they start to step out the line and they do things that they're not supposed to do, who's going to talk about them? Me.
And a Rasta. I can't remember his name though.
What's his name? I know who you mean.
Okay, yeah. Good. Nice. Well, something you really got intelligence, lady. Hear this about Curtis. 2 years ago, Curtis came to me, he said, I'm going to England for the test series, you know. I say, I'm taking along my wife with me too. Curtis went on British Airways before us. I did not know when Curtis got to England, he picked up all our tickets for the test matches, you know.
Wow.
I said, wait, Anita, I'm scared. This is a guy we abuse each other with Labour and Pamting all the time. He has our tickets already. He's showing me. She has the phone. He showed the tickets and so on the phone.
He is like that. Like I told you.
We have to be careful how we deal with each other.
We have to.
After election.
Even during the campaign,
Yes.
people are going to say how they feel. One has to learn to respect another's opinion. Maybe because you think that you're highfalutin, bright and educated, that you have to use all of these big words, and people who use small words can't, you have to look down on them. People have a right, whether or not you're a drain cleaner or you're a minister vying for election, people have a right to say how they feel. And we have a right to respect another's opinion. Okay? If I say the board is black and you say the board is white, it's what I see. You can't tell me what I see. I mean, as much as I would want to, and a friend of mine always tell me, the hardest thing to open is a closed mind. When I realize that you can't seem to get there to somebody, you leave them and you move along. But you can't tell a person to believe in what you believe in because they don't understand why you believe in it.
I have a problem in St. Kitts with McMahon though. I did not know who was McMahon, but I invited him out for lunch because I want to know him and so on. We met, had lunch. I thought it was nice of him to come though. But I have a serious problem with McMahon. I hope he's listening. He'll be able to criticize me too. I don't believe McMahon doing justice to young people in terms of teaching them the way forward in politics. Come, I tell you why quickly. He has these crazy thoughts about just labor. He would never come and speak real beautiful in a flow about this administration. He will have to break in with some old nonsense going down in a well and coming back up. Mr. McMahon, I don't know his right name.
Ira, his name is Ira.
Ira, he's not doing a good job representing Labour, in my humble opinion. The young people can't really learn a lot from him. But I could tell you someone who I think they could learn things from. Stanley Franks and his brother Sam Franks. Anyone listening to this broadcast and want to learn something real good about Labour, talk to a gentleman named Sam Franks, Stanley Franks' brother. And he will teach you the way forward, not to hate like what Sandra's saying, and he will show you that people will have their own opinions and matters arise as they arise, but this is the way to go. Labour is suffering a serious problem, Sandra.
Because of the people who follows them. It's a fact. The people who promote them are the ones who are doing the most damage to them.
So I met one of the biggest Labour supporter a couple days ago. I can't call his name. I'm not like that.
No, don't do that.
Sandra, anybody in the world can tell me something in confidence, No one will ever know.
That's good.
I said, sir, the conversation that we're about to have is not for people consumption to know who you are. Tell me something. When Dr. Douglas going to resign, he said, I don't know, but I know it have to happen soon. I nearly got crazy. Sandra, if I tell you the name of the person, you might want to go crazy too. But you okay, he said we have a call.
Okay.
Do you take calls too?
I didn't know we don't. Okay, let's take this call. Caller, you're live on Your Views.
Sandra, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
And good morning, Captain.
Morning, politics.
Man, I'm here listening to a wonderful program.
Thank you.
One reason between Dr. Douglas and Timothy, right? Dr. Timothy control 3 different parties in government. And he is the Prime Minister. The people, the party support. Dr. Douglas was in government for over 20 years. And he get political strong and political motivated. So he always feel like the people them thinking the same way. Not the matter that he arrogant, It's the matter that he know that how he had the people them. And he always feel like the people them will think the same way, are doing what they're doing all the time. But you see now, that now we see that the people them shift and the people them turn with a team unity government, I believe that he should have just relaxed the button and just move on. You understand? And with Congress and Dr. Judum, who was around him, I believe that, seriously, that those guys ain't coming to politics because there is down to Labour or there was a member of the Labour Party. I believe they're coming to politics because maybe something about money.
No.
It's about money.
No.
I don't if there was a member of the party. I don't if it can be an executive member of the Labour Party. I don't if it was an executive member of the Labour Party. These guys just come in, these guys in really down to earth, say that there is Labour and everything. It's just about where they get and they try something and whatever. So they can't tell Dr. Douglas nothing because he make them. He make them. Anyway, I'll continue to listen to the program.
Okay, thank
you.
you.
Between he and Dr. Harris.
Okay, thank you for your contribution. I think that's a little harsh though. I cannot judge a person based, and I'm that kind of person. I don't judge you until I've experienced you.
Amen.
And what I've seen from Conway's, I get to know him. I think he has a genuine interest in politics, and I listened to his conversations when he leading up to the campaign and the things that he was saying and the plans that he had. The only problem that I had with that, I couldn't understand him talking about a next gen or new generation having the same old leadership. That was one of the issues.
Sandra, please stop. I'm sorry to have to tell you stop.
No, it's
This
okay.
is your program.
No, it's okay. You have the right.
Sandra, Conwis came to my house 5 months ago. When my wife came inside and told me Conwis outside, I said, what? This young man so mature? Come, Conwis. Conwis, he gave me a leaflet, beautiful, with some of the things that he intended to do. I said, Conwis, I have one problem with you. He said, what? I said, you're with Dr. Douglas. You will lose. He said, no, man. And I told him other things which I wouldn't say on radio. That's the type of person I am. Conwis, your future in politics going to be blunt
Short-lived.
if you stay with Dr. Douglas Alauda. I don't want to say anything else. Sanja, we had a 30 minutes conversation out of this world.
Wow.
I showed him all the avenues and ways which he could not proceed and go upward.
And did you come to the conclusion that he was in it because of the money or because of a genuine interest for politics?
Nothing at all to do with money, not when it comes to Conwis. My heart tell me no. Conwis wanted to play an active role in politics in St. Kitts and Nevis. And Sanja could tell you this. I believe he would have been an outstanding politician. He might still have the opportunity, being young, to fight again. But I could tell you this, once I'm living in the area, as much as I like him, if the young lady that I voted for, Akila, does well, nobody could beat her once I live in the village.
I have to call Akila Goose Pimples. Every time you call her name, I get goose pimples.
She frightened me.
Let me
She's
tell
so
you,
cool.
I have never seen, and I'm going to tell you this, I've never seen a politician who has that kind of passion and that love for people, genuine love for people. And this is a person before she became an elected member. I sat here with her in an interview, and I tell you, every time, look at my skin, every time I say Akila Byron Nisbet, my skin break out in goose pimples. That I see the genuineness, the loyalty, the love, the genuine love that this young lady have for politics. You know what I like about her? Her humility. She is humble. She would sit with you and she's ready to learn. She is not the know-it-all type of person. And you sit and you have, it's one of the best interviews I've ever had with any politician was Akila.
And don't think I didn't listen, you know.
Boy, it
I
was...
even called Tango. He say he not listening. I said, Tango, you want me to throw stone from my store to yours? How you could miss Akila interview with Sanja?
It was...
He said, boy, Licky, I'm so glad you tell me I don't forget Sanja program.
Let me tell you, I and it's not because, when she told me the things that she did, And I'm going to monitor her though, because I want to make sure that she continues along that same path. I don't know how she can change, because she seems to be, when I followed her and I investigated, because I like to investigate, she seemed to be that type of person. She seemed to have had that kind of energy coming forward. And that is one of the reasons why she could have come into a Labour stronghold and actually defeated a man at that in the last election, because of the things that, not that she says she can do, but the things that she has done.
But hear me now. You say you're going to monitor? Well, I'll be looking forward to see what she's going to do. But I want to send a clear message to her today how she will win the seat. Not by me being a minister and doing great things all around the country.
It's what she's doing for
She has to
West
do
Bastia.
in the village and her area. Go and meet people regular. Not when I say regular, I don't mean every 2 months. Every now and then you have to walk through, meet the people, and so that is what going to win her the election. You know who I learned it from? A Labour man. DuPont, come and tell you something in this campaign. Some of your candidates could lose because of the lack of spending time inside.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what minister's doing, because those things
It's
have
not
to
your
be done.
portfolio, it is what you, that's what you're representing. You're representing the constituency, the people there. They put you there because they think that you can help them. And I think that is a mistake that politicians make. If I was to ever run for election, let me tell you something. I would, at the night of the election, I would go to my bed and I would sleep until the next morning, or until somebody called me and tell me, "Come, Sandra, you need to come and meet the people because you've won." Because in West Bastia has been seriously neglected. I can't seem to understand why people would have held on to those representatives that they have had for all these years. And I don't want to single out anybody, but when I look at West Bastia is a slum. And I'm with no water in my mouth. I cannot believe that the people of West Bastia who have been so loyal to these ministers they have kept in offices, who would have had a job for 20-something years. And when you look at the stuff happening up there, I mean, you have the play field that you have up there. It's just an ordinary open field. It's not even properly lawned. There's nothing there. And you're telling me over 20 years, the best football team always come out of the village. Everything good comes out of the village. And the village has the worst. Why?
Sandra, take my words today. I don't know the date of today because I don't follow those things. If Akila does well in that area, nobody will be able to beat her.
You know why Dr. Harris is so strong?
Tell me.
Because of the fact that he walks through his constituency. It doesn't matter what time of day or what time of night. He has an open house policy. You can go, you can see him at any time. You call him on his phone, he answers like any ordinary man. That is why he's so strong in his constituency. You know why Sean is so strong in his constituency? You know why Sandy Pointers love Sean? It's not because Sean started out as strong as he was, but they brought it to him and tell him, let me tell you, you don't start walking around us and you don't see what we need here, and then definitely we have to find somebody else who's going to replace you.
Let me give you one quick thing about my son. I don't tell my children who to vote for. When election day coming up, I rang my son. Elton, this is Daddy. Election coming up shortly? Yes, Dad. Who you intend to vote for? Daddy, man, stop making joke with me, no, man. Stop messing around. You expect me to vote for anybody but Sean? I say, Elton, you have to give me a reason why you're voting for Sean. Daddy, he's accessible. If I ask Sean to assist me with anything, even if he can't do it himself, he make a call. Case we go. Case closed.
And you know,
my son disgusting like me, he don't afraid to talk, you know.
I know. And you know what I like about Sean?
He's my child for you.
He's your child.
Oh, okay. because I got young children and I just still support them, you know. So I mean,
he's your child. Don't take that one. That one is your child.
You believe
so? Yeah, he's your child. Let me tell you about Sean. Sean is the kind of person who tells you straight up. He's very straight up. I can't do it, and I'm not going to do it. And it's straight up. It's not the right thing to do, and I'm not going to do it. It's as simple as that. Or, you know what? I'm going to get somebody to do it. And I'm saying, he's just trying to push you off. As he would say, and get somebody to do it, somebody's going to call you. Mr. Richard said that and it's done. That is the type of person. But let's look at another situation that hurts me, DuPont, to the core. And I can't seem to understand why and how Labour basically had 20 years in office under the leadership of Dr. Denzel Douglas. Drive into St. Paul's, drive into Newton Ground, go into that side of the country. I've done it. I never used to go to that side of the country. And these people are so loyal. And look at what happens down there. It saddens my heart. And this is constructive. This is not in any bad way. And I'm saying it is wrong. You can't have a group of people who follows you to destroy whatever you say to do, they are going to do. And you have neglected those people like that. It is wrong.
So
it is a shame.
we have to move away from that type of politics,
That type of
regardless
politics we
of
have
the
to.
people involved.
I don't care who. And I don't care what. It is wrong. And if Team Unity is going to do the same thing, where you're going to keep your people down so that it's like a crab in a barrel syndrome. You walk on everybody else, you keep them down there so that you can stay on the top. It is wrong.
You know, if St. Kitts start to sink, you and I could form a political party and get trouble.
Let me tell you something. I think I can be a one-man party, and I definitely Kittitions. I only
Well,
want one
two.
term. Two.
It's gonna be
good.
two.
And I only want one term because it's for me. Politicians have to understand. You are automatically we give you a job. It's for you just to look after us. You can't give everybody all of the things one time. It takes some time, but show the interest. People want hope.
Having said that, though, you believe anybody in this country could beat Timothy in 7?
Me. If I run, I can beat Timothy in 7. It's going to be tough because he has done all he could do. But I'll find something else that he didn't do.
Sandra, you're really disgusting, lady.
No, me.
Hey.
Honestly,
Sandra,
other than me, it's going to be nobody. I don't think anybody else. The man is committed to his people.
Exactly.
And let me tell you, I remember the first time when he came out, and a friend of mine, Andrea, we had Gilbert's sister, we had a discussion, and I said to her, girl, you're going to vote for Timothy? She said, yes. Why? Because not that he's from Tabernacle, but he's a people man. I mean, he comes around us.
Gilbert, who used to run
Yeah,
against, you
his
spoke
sister.
to her
Yeah,
his
his sister and I was like, we are very, very, very
And she
close.
told you those
She told me
words?
that. She said to me, yeah. And she said, he going to win and he going to win big. I was shocked because then I was a supporter then of the People's Action Movement. And I was like, what? And he did come out. He came out, and not that he came out that way and he stayed that way.
Let me ask you, when you're up here doing your program in the day and so frank and so you don't afraid people stone you when you go downstairs?
Me, why? No, I don't tell lies. I tell the truth. You're gonna stone. But they crucified Jesus because he was true. But you want to stone me because I'm telling you. I'm telling you like it is. I don't. Why am I gonna be afraid? I'm self-sufficient. I don't depend on government or anybody. As a matter of
Sandra,
fact.
you know you could be a driving force for other ladies to come forward in the political game.
But they would have to want to. You see, it's politics for me. It's not even a passion. It's a way of life. When I look and see how people are treated, Carlton, and we see how politicians treat people. When I see how there's nothing wrong, and let me tell you, it's a human being. It's basically one of the characteristics that we have as human. When politicians go in, they're going to look after not just themselves, they're going to look after their family, which is right. I'll tell you why I say it is right. Because at the end of the day, when I take the decision to go into politics, and my family is going to be affected based on what I do. Look at Conway's family who's going to be affected. If you have a bad government going, then his wife can't work, if she was working for government, automatically you lose your job. Your father would be victimized. Your mother would be put aside. So therefore, you have to look after your family. It's a must. You have to make sure at the end of the day, when push comes to shove, and when I am out of office, my family has a way forward. So it is a normal thing. But what I have a problem with is when politicians are getting, and me as a taxpayer has to pay more so that your family can benefit, and you can benefit, and your friends can benefit, and poor people are suffering. That is the problem that I have with
Sandra,
politicians.
people came to me in the campaign and said, DuPont are disappointed with you. I said, with what? You back in the teeth in Prime Minister and he not doing a good job putting in all the family thing? I said, come and tell you something, straight and plain. If they got 2 teeth in St. Kitts and Harris is 1, I want teeth with him.
No.
I'm backing him as a thief.
But Juma, let's look at this.
Because he's a good thief,
But
he's a sharing thief.
It's a sharing. Okay, listen, look at this.
That's all I got to say today.
Let's look at the situation. If Dr. Harris is stealing and he's looking after his family, we are benefiting. We are out of the hands of the IMF. All lands that was swapped for that, we are getting it back.
So which Prime Minister would not look after their family?
Well, this is what I'm saying. But I have a problem with the ones that look after their family and tax me to do so. VAT has come off of food. The things that Dr. Harris would have done if he's looking after his family and still doing all of this, well, he's the best prime minister ever.
Lord, Sandra, allow me to read this one line from the scripture before we leave. I'm reading it because of you. You inspire me in life, even though I'm older than you. I'm reading from Romans chapter 8, verse 31. What then are we to say about these things? If God is for us,
Who can be against us?
and Sanjay, you know what I like about you? Working for yourself, you might have lived a poor life before. I didn't know how you grew up.
If I tell, we have to take another program to tell you how I grew up. I lived, and it wasn't a poor life. I lived a life that I could not afford certain luxuries, but
What
for
you
me,
said?
it was the best life.
Man, you got to invite me back on your
Okay,
program.
definitely.
Because I grew up so poor.
No, nobody was poor. Let me tell you, you lived a life not being able to afford certain things, but that did not make you poor. Poverty is not that.
Let me give you a 10 seconds joke. Fellas used to pass by our house, we inside sleeping. And they say, see Carlton there, and the house close up. When I wake up, my mother say, you see what they're saying about us? Because you could see through the board. They say, see he head there, and see Lincoln head there, and see, Well, let me tell you, I will never forget where I came from.
And you were not poor because you were sleeping. You were allowed to sleep.
What?
That is one of the things. So because I ate, let me ask you a question. So because you're allowed to eat chicken leg and I ate the back of the chicken, it's the same chicken. But people always look down. So because you can drive, and let me tell you something, when you drive every day, it is a bad thing. And so because I walk every day, I'm going to live longer than you. You in your Benz and I'm on my feet, I'm going to live longer than you. People, it's a mental thing. It's a state of mind. Poverty is a state of mind. My mother always tell me, you can't be poor and look poor. If you have two shirts, Carlton, and somebody have a lot, sometimes you have clothes in the closet you don't even wear. So what does that make you? And I have two shirts that I wear all the time. I'm still clothed.
You know what my wife did the other day? Take out about 25 of my shirts and 20 pants and went and give people. I said, lady, how you could do that?
That's a good wife.
She said, you don't wear them.
And that's what, and
I could hate her?
And that is what, and you know, because of the mentality that we have, we think that makes us rich. You know what that makes us? Wasteful and selfish. I was about to say, it makes us wasteful and selfish because let me tell you something, Carlton. I'll tell you one thing about me, Carlton. One thing I tell you about me. It brings tears to my eyes, and it's just a thing. That's the kind of person I am. It's one thing I want you to know about me. It brings tears to my eyes. Anybody come up to me and say, Miss, please. You don't have to say please. It brings tears, and it make me teary. When I look at some of the people who walk around town, and the fact that they cannot afford to buy themselves a meal. And when I look at the stuff that my children would throw away, it brings tears to my eyes because it's not right. That is what it is. It makes us selfish. If I have $100 and my children only eat, $25 worth of that food, why would you buy $100 worth of food when they're only going to eat $25 worth of food? You know how many people out there wish you know how many people you could have fed with that $75? And that is what I look at on a daily basis. I'm not rich, but I am comfortable.
Sandra, you shouldn't invite me here. This is one of the sweetest morning in my life.
No, but it's a fact. And these are the things that we have to start looking at. And that is what is going to change your mentality when you start looking at politicians. We always want from them. We always support them because of what they can give to us. And sometimes we are loyal to people who do wrong things because they help us in the interim. It's not right.
20 seconds. A lady walked in the store a couple of days ago. She said, Mr. DuPont, every time I come here, can't find you. Come and tell you quickly why I voted for Unity. You say one morning on a program in ZIZ, if you even have a problem with the ministers, and they did not do enough for you, and so please vote for them still so we can win and have Timothy Harris running things again, and let's try and improve. The lady say a politician promised her 11 things, never gave her one. She thought it was unfair to vote for him. She decided to stay home after hearing my broadcast to say, when I say, please vote for them for me, she said she voted for the candidate for Unity, so she came to tell me.
Wow.
Politician got to stop
Promising, exactly.
and you're not even fulfilling.
Let me tell you,
Why
Japan.
you got to do that to people?
Japan, the only thing I want from a politician is an opportunity, the same opportunity that you have. If you have an opportunity to purchase that piece of land, I want the same opportunity.
Praise the Lord.
If you have an opportunity to take that job, as long as I have the same qualifications like you, I want that same opportunity. That opportunity should not be given to you because you support him and you're not qualified. Because I see a lot of that. A lot of people are like groundhogs. They come out after the election is over, and the people who do the hard work, they're pushed back again in the shrubs. It's not right.
Sanjo, how come you're so loving and you only have 2 children?
Because I can only afford to love 2 children in my house, and then I can look after the rest of the world.
Man, you should have had 20
No,
children.
but then I would not help the rest. I would not be able to help the rest of the
Oh,
world.
I see what you mean. But
So-
Lord, you're a nice woman. I'm sorry to say it.
Sometimes I can be just as nice and just as terrible if I have to. Trust me, I can be as terrible as I am nice.
For real?
Yeah,
Oh, so I still yet to see that side of you.
it's yeah. You see.
Lord of mercy.
Yeah, you
you
still-
won't believe I enjoy this program.
I-
I,
it
haven't
was-
lost a cent in this store.
I appreciate it. You know. When I asked you to come, and you said, you're gonna, Carlton, and that is what I love about you. I'm gonna take 2 minutes to talk about who you are.
Yes.
People don't know you. From I heard about you that when I was growing up, you're the same person since then until now. You have not changed. I admire you. Just like you talk about admiration for me, I admire you. I admire what you stand for. I admire your loyalty. I remember the time when I called you and I called what's his name? Archibald Washi. And I had a discussion with you, and I told you about, we had this discussion, and he forgot the phone off, and he made that statement. And I,
Yes.
you know what hurt me most? It was not what he said, but I couldn't understand why he would have thought that way about me. I don't like that. That's one of my biggest problems. I don't like people basically perceive who I am before you get to know who I am. Don't say, oh, she says this, so I think that is what she wants. Don't think what I want, know what I want. Don't believe what I want, know what I want. If you don't have the facts, then don't talk.
Amen.
And that was one of the things. But I admire the man. I look back and I called back and he said, no, but I thought this. And I from since then, but before that, I always had that kind of respect for you. People don't know you. And when I listen to the things that people say about you, it hurts me because if they get to know who you are, they would never say the things that they say.
I want them to say more bad things. To me, the worst things people say about me inspire me to do better.
It is. I like that. I like that. I can only grow, and the same thing I tell people. I can only grow when people say negative things about me. Because trust me, if you said Sanju such and such, I go back and this is what I do. I sit down with myself and I say, why would he say something like that? I look and see, are you really such and such? If I realize that I'm not, I say that's his perception. But sometimes you look at it and say, Sanju is true. You need to look at that. Sometimes I think you're too this or you're too forceful. You need to be a little more tactful, and it helps me to grow. So I love when people criticize me. It
Sanja,
strengthens
a
me.
man met me yesterday. He started to abuse me. He said, you're doing a show now on the radio. I am loving it, but I have a serious problem with you. Why you say Elimat shouldn't get a house? I told the man the reason he's still vexed with me. I said, mister, Elimat should not get any house from Patches because Elimat make millions of dollars in his lifetime coming up. He should have used some of the money not only to have a house but some condos.
And that is a
Use
good
me
point.
still.
That is a good. That is
Patches supposed to give Elimat a house.
That is a good point.
Ridiculous.
A good point to end on, and that is what people fail to realize, that the government is not here for when you would have failed. You live your life, you mess up yourself, and then government has to pull you out of squalls. It's not right. It was a pleasure, Carlton. It was a pleasure having you. It was.
Magnificent. I thank you for inviting me.
It was, and I thank you for accepting. It's a pity that we could not take calls. We know normally it's normally about educating and informing people, and the hour has run by so quickly. And I really think I should be bad-minded, but it's not in my DNA. I can't do that. I can't take up the time that I would have left. So I will have to say goodbye. It was a pleasure. My name is Sandra Quilliat. Atherton. It's a Good Friday. The borders are not closed, but we still, and as a people, we have to start supporting our own. And I think that we have enough resources here in St. Kitts so that we can help people out there, those people who are directly affected by the COVID-19, especially those restaurant owners. Locals, patronize your own people. Go out there, enjoy yourself, take your holiday here. Those of you who are planning a big holiday to go to the States, take that money and go to Buddies on the Strip or Vibes or one of those bars on the Strip. That money that you have saving to go in away to Red Lobster, use it for your people here. Support us, the locals, and make sure that we can live amongst ourselves. We have to stop looking outside for foreigners to come in, or foreign investment. Use what we have here. Support our own, buy local, eat local, and it's a beautiful weekend. Enjoy it and do that. All of this on this weekend. I'll be back on next Friday, Jupant. I wish I could have you back next Friday, but
Anytime you can call me. Thank you.
But it was a pleasure. Thank you.